We're kicking off on Monday at 10 o'clock with our program, and we are delighted that all you, over 800 people and still counting, are planning to participate. The classes again will start Monday at 10 a.m. I want to emphasize, because we have people from all over the country, that is 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So if you are so unfortunate otherwise to live in California, that means it'll be starting at 7 a.m. I see somebody with the image of the Golden Gate Bridge behind her. I'm not sure. Yeah, are you, nod your head if you're in California.
No, she's in New York City.
Oh, New York. Okay. Well, anyway. So we'll start at 10 a.m. on Monday, and we're going to go all the way through 2 p.m. on Thursday, August 13th. That's 16 weeks of classes and 6 weeks of classes and a lot of fun. We will formally conclude with a faculty recital on Thursday evening, August 13th at 7 p.m. All of the instructors that you'll be seeing over the next 6 weeks, except me, will be participating in. Maybe I'll sing some, I don't know, but we'll that'll scare people. So we will do that rehearsal or that recital at 7 o'clock. Quickly over summarizing what you're getting 36 singing sessions, 20 learn to sing sessions, 21 learn about singing and music sessions, and 3 fun sessions, including 2 Christmas in July and Christmas in August, and of course the faculty reception. A recurring question that I hope all of you know by now is that you do not have to sign up for individual classes. Your registration grants you access to everything, and we'll go into that in detail in a moment. All sheet music, lyric sheets, anything else that you need to supplement your experience will be available on Encore's website, and we will now talk about that. If you go to our Encore website, encorecreativity.org, you will see a section called Singers Login. If you click on that, a window will open up that says Enter Password. And you will enter the password SINGERS, all lowercase, S-I-N-G-E-R-S. That will take you into our Singers Login page. Once you get there, on the right-hand side, you'll see a long list of what we call singer resources, many of which are specifically related to summer school. Starting with Encore University, the course catalog, the schedule at a glance, a sheet that has all of the repertoire that we'll be covering and who will be covering it over the next 6 weeks, and a list of all frequently asked questions. You'll see kind of sticking out there on the side, Encore University Summer School course handout materials. One of our instructors last night sent us a handout, and he said, I'm going to be using this at my session on Monday. Well, we hadn't considered that, so we added that section. And so if you go there, right now you'll find a handout for Jeff Dawkins' vocal technique, I think it is, class on Monday. And he asks that you download that and have it available for his class. When you go in, when you click on one of those things, this is what you're going to see. You'll see various documents that are available to you to download. And there's 2 ways you can download. You can actually click on the name of the document right there, and it'll open up, and then you can save it to your device if you like, or you can click on the download button. Either one does effectively the same thing, but that will get you the document. Probably the most significant thing here is the actual sheet music for the 4-part songs that we're going to be singing. So you'll find that under Encore University Summer School chorale. This is chorale sheet music and lyrics. So when you go in there, you're going to see all the sheet music and the lyrics sheets. So for example, if you want to start off at 10 o'clock in the morning with Gene Kelly's Sing, then you'll probably want her lyrics sheet and the download music that she will be using. And again, that download, if you have the repertoire sheet, which I showed you in the previous slide, if you print out the repertoire sheet, you'll know what each conductor is covering, and then you can get that material if you want to have it. All right, my wife wants to interrupt me. I knew that would happen.
For the singers that have been with Encore, this repertoire has been chosen. We've done it very recently. So you would have this repertoire if you haven't thrown it out. So check your musical library. And we did Swingin' with the Gershwins in 2019. You would probably have it. Many of you would have Les Miserables. Many of you would have South Pacific. If you've never sung with Encore before, you'd probably want to download this and print it.
Okay. And again, you can download it either by clicking on it, clicking on the document, or clicking on the download page. Summer school choral music tracks. All of the music that we will be rehearsing using sheet music is also available in audio format. For those of you who are familiar with Encore, you know that as part of your semester, you get a CD with all of the music, which we also make available for download. So if you click on that, you're going to see all of the music listed here. Now this is chorale balanced voices. We have a set of music where the soprano voice is predominant, alto, tenor, bass, etc. So you can click on this, and you will then go to the song you click on, and you see here, this is Gloria, SATB, Balanced Voices Recording. And if you click on that button on the lower left, it will play the music for you, so you can hear it that way. Or you can come up here and you can download the music to play at your convenience on your own device. Now, if you want to learn the music outside of the class, this is a great way to further rehearse the music. You can sing along with the recording. So this is something we always do with Encore, and our singers like it. I'm not going to go through all the rest because it's basically the same. We have all of the same information for rocks. This is our rock and roll repertoire. And we also have everything for our sentimental journey singers. For those of you who are not familiar, this is our program for people with early stage Alzheimer's or other memory impairments. So we have all of this. Jeff Dawkin will be doing the rocks rehearsal, I believe, on Tuesday morning, and then I think there's another time during the week you can consult the schedule. And I think Sentimental Journey is on every Monday. So you have those options. And similarly with the music tracks, we have that for rocks as well. So what do you need to know about Zoom? Well, first of all sessions require a login code and password. And we will be sending that to you via a weekly email. You will receive every Friday. That would be tomorrow. You'll get this, and it will give you a list. It'll give you the schedule for the week and the login code that you need for each class. Each one has a unique code that you have to use to get into. The email will also give you any information that we think is important for that week. For example, as I mentioned, Jeff Dawkin is going to be using a handout. So when you get that email, you'll see under his class a link to download that handout. So that'll all be there. Sessions will be open 10 minutes before class time. You will arrive in a waiting room, and then you'll be admitted to the class by a facilitator. Every class will have at least one facilitator that is managing kind of the behind the scenes and helping you. Our objective is that there's a lot going on during one of these sessions with people asking questions, which we'll talk about, and then admitting people to the room and all of these things. So we have facilitators that are going to handle all of that, so the instructor can concentrate on instruction and not the other aspects of it. When you come in, I believe we have you set. You should come in with your video automatically turned on. But if you come in and you see yourself as a black screen, then you need to find the little video icon on your window and turn your video on so that that we can see you. That is optional. You can turn yourself off if you also want to. If you don't want to be seen, you want to, well, I won't get into it. Entry to classes will be cut off 15 minutes after class start time. So we ask that you not be late, because you will be excluded from the class if you're not there, or you may be excluded if you're not there within the first 15 minutes. The reason for this is because it requires the attention of our facilitators to be monitoring our waiting room and admitting people, and they're going to have other activities that they need to be turning their attention to, like monitoring the questions that are coming in. So you know, if one of our facilitators has the time and inclination, they may let you in, but understand that if you arrive after 15 minutes, there's a good chance that you will not be admitted. We are recording all of the classes, and we will make them available for your viewing after the class has been completed. That means if you have a schedule conflict and you can't make it to a class, you can still watch it via video at your personal convenience. So that's entirely up to you. You'll get an email on this on some undetermined schedule at this point. We're still working some of these out, since this is all kind of new to us, some of these aspects of this. So we will communicate to you how to watch the video sometime soon after the class is completed. We ask that you use your personal name for your screen name. If you right-click on your image in Zoom, you'll see that you have an option to rename yourself. So if your standard thing is Amy's iPad or Grandma Jones or whatever, we ask that you change and enter your first and last name so that we know who you are. Now, frankly, and I should have mentioned it up above, you've paid tuition to attend this class. We are going to try to control access as best we can to those who have paid tuition. So if we see somebody that we don't recognize, we may challenge that person before letting them into the class. And that reminds me a point that I didn't make a little higher up. Please do not share the login information with anybody else. We really need to control this. There are expenses that we bear, conductor, instructor salaries, and a lot of administrative costs, paying for Zoom and all of these things. And we think it's only fair that we present this to the people who have paid for it, and we don't have any freeloaders coming in. Due to the large number of people, again, we have 800 people signed up. I have no idea at this point how many will attend any given session, but we assume it could be in the hundreds. So we cannot have verbal interaction between the participants while a meeting is going on. We have muted you. I believe we have set your mute so that you cannot personally unmute yourself, but if you find that you have that ability, please do not unmute yourself. Your background noise could interfere with the presentation, and we just can't be interrupted. Each class is an hour. We have a lot of material to cover, and we need to be focused. If you do want to ask questions or make comments, which we welcome, there is a chat button on your menu screen either at the top or the bottom of your screen. You can click on the chat button and you will see that you can address a comment or question to everyone, or you can address it to an individual. We ask that you refrain from using the everyone, and you direct any questions or comments you have to the person named as Encore Creativity on your list. Right now, that's David Simmons, but it'll probably be me on Monday, but it'll be different people. So what you can do is, if you have a question, is type it out and send it to Encore Creativity, and then the facilitator will review your comment or question. If it's something that is of a particularly timely and perhaps urgent nature, the facilitator will verbally ask the instructor the question. However, most of your comments and questions we will defer to the end of the hour, at which point we will allow an additional 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the volume of questions and comments we have, where the facilitator, the person named Encore Creativity, will verbally address these things to the instructor, and the instructor will answer. It is possible on occasion that the facilitator will invite the person asking the question to ask it verbally, and the facilitator will unmute that person and invite them to talk. Many of you have been in Zoom sessions where people talk, and if you have a lot of people in the room, that can get very chaotic very quickly. So with the number of people we've got, we just really have to control it. For the best, I think I've already covered this. I did, but the best visual experience, please use speaker view. Do not use gallery view. We really hope this doesn't happen, but occasionally Zoom may crash. And if that does, if you just find that the whole meeting went blank, watch your email. We will send out as quickly as we can new login information to resume the meeting. I don't believe that's ever happened with all the meetings we had in the fall or in the spring, but it does happen. It's also possible that you yourself will lose your connection. I can tell you that we have had that happen. It is typically related to the quality of your internet connection. If you are using Wi-Fi, which probably the majority of you are, that Wi-Fi connection can be unstable and it can throw you off, or any number of things that could happen that are at your end. So if that happens, you'll just have to log yourself back in, and hopefully we'll know that and we'll get you in. Okay, we're going to talk about Zoom a little bit here, because we do know that some of you are probably new to it. So if you're not, well, just bear with us. You do not need to have a free Zoom account. It is free, but you may want to get one. If you don't get a Zoom account, simply clicking on the link in the meeting schedule that we've provided to you will bring you in. If you're going to use Zoom, it may ask you to download Zoom software the first time you use it. Zoom is very specific to the platform that you're using. For example, if you're on a PC, things work a certain way. If you're on a Mac, they might work a little bit differently. You might be on an iPad. You might be on some other pad. You might be on a phone, iPhone or Android or whatever it might be. And each one is going to have a different look. Certainly, if you're trying to do it on a phone, you're going to find that your experience is different. We can't, as a practical matter, go through all of this, but if you go to Zoom, support.zoom.us, you'll find a whole lot of tutorials, including how do I join a meeting. And if you click and you can watch that video and it will explain things. And you'll also see platform-specific tutorials depending on what you're using. So it would behoove you, if you're not an experienced Zoom user, to do that. Quickly, this is one of the documents that's in that the download section of the Singers login page. I strongly recommend that you all have this handy. Even though you'll be getting it via email and all of these things, this, I think, can help you plan your week, what classes you want to attend. Some of you might want to attend them all. Especially, in these times when you got nothing better to do, I suppose. But it's all there, and you can see the classes that are in the sort of salmon colored. Those are the the singing classes, where you'll be learning specific repertoire, and you'll also be doing the some sing-along stuff. The green is Rock On with Jeff. That will be our rock and roll sessions, and that'll be Tuesday mornings and Thursday afternoons. The Sentimental Journey singer programs are all in purple. The classes that are shaded in sort of a yellow color, those are learning how to sing or learning specific things about music, vocal technique, solfege, music theory. These are all the classes that are in yellow. And then the blue classes are learning about singing and learning about song, and these are, I don't know how it is, they're educational and entertaining types of classes. We've got David Simmons doing Times They Are A-Changing, Rock and Roll and Appreciation with Jeff Dawkin, the Christmas in July, and then Christmas in August. That's going to be, just for your information, that's going to be Stephen Hariff leading you in Christmas songs with COVID-related lyrics. And I can't tell you any more than that because I haven't seen it, but it sounds very, very intriguing. Some of the classes, particularly the singing classes, will extend through the entire 6 weeks. Some of the classes will be onesies or twosies or threesies, that they will be less than 6 weeks. But in any given week, you'll see that you have, a full schedule of classes. And then at the end, as I told you, we will have the faculty recital on that Thursday evening. So that is that. And so, David, do we have any questions coming in? Oh, David, I got to unmute you. David, you have to unmute.
Got it. Hi, Larry.
Hi.
Someone just asked, they said they found out about this through a friend. They didn't get the email. If someone did not get an email directly, please just email info@encorecreativity.org and let us know that. We'll make sure you get on the list for whatever the problem was. If you got here through the backside, we'll make sure you get those emails.
Yeah, this is a very good point. All of you have email service providers, and they all have various security aspects to them. And what we find is sometimes our emails, when we're sending them out to a lot of people, your email service provider might consider them to be spam, and they will put them in your spam or junk folder. You probably receive it, but you don't see it because it's not where you ordinarily look. So we especially encourage you over the next couple of days to be keeping an eye on your spam and junk folders and make sure that nothing that came from Encore ended up in that folder. If that happens, depending on what you're using, you have the opportunity to make us a trusted sender, and we ask that you do that. If you have a feeling that you're not receiving emails And bear in mind, you're going to get a crucial email every Friday afternoon, or sometime Friday, probably earlier Friday. And that email is going to be repeated on Monday. If you don't see that email tomorrow, email us at info@encorecreativity.org, and we'll see what we can do to get the information to you. Frankly, there's simply nothing that we can do on our end to fix problems that are related to your internet service provider. David?
Yes, someone else asked how long each session is. All of the sessions for the summer program are 1 hour in length. All of the sessions are 1 hour in length. They're not the 1.5 hours we did in spring.
Right,
Correct.
because we're not, our objective with the rehearsals and singing is different from what it would be in a normal semester. So we decided that an hour would be sufficient for those sessions. So everything is 1 hour. We've allowed intermediate time in between classes for people, if you're going from one to the next, to do what you need to do in between. We did indicate earlier that, however, we will be allowing our classes to run over a little bit for any Q&A that there might be.
Larry, there's just a reminder. We'd like to ask everyone to, if you have comments for the chat, don't send them to everyone. Send them to the Encore Creativity person privately. You go to the drop down and you go to Encore Creativity where it says privately. Don't send them to everyone. It's getting a little confusing when everyone's getting these questions.
Right, right.
That's it.
Anything else?
Can you, Jeff Dawkins just sent me a message. If you can, he had something, if you can unmute him, he said. He was something I guess he wanted to share.
If I can unmute him, I probably can't even find him. Oh.
Conductor Sanovo.
We've got over 200 people. I can't find him. David, you should be able to unmute him. You might try going to.
Great, I'll do that. I'll do that while you're talking.
Yeah, because you have the ability to do that.
I'll do that.
Any other questions while you're doing that?
People wanted to know if the sessions were sequential.
Oh, actually, I'm unmuted now. That was one of the things I was going to address. Hi, everybody. Somebody asked me if for the theory class, if it would be a problem if they had to miss 1 or 2 of the weeks. So it's going to be done sequentially, but I am going to start each class with a review of what we did the last week. So no, don't not attend if you can't attend all of them. You'll still certainly get something out of each week, even if you can't attend every week. I'll spend a little bit of time reviewing. So they're not all standalone. It is meant to build on itself, but it will still be totally worth it if you can only attend 4 or 5 of the sessions.
Yeah, and I think that applies with all of the sessions. Yes, there's a certain amount of continuity to them, but I don't think you're necessarily going to be out of luck if you miss one.
It's summer and we're supposed to have lots of fun. So
Yep.
if you like going to the beach that day, go. We'll catch up with you the next class.
If the beach is open.
Yes, if the beach is open.
Larry, there's also been some questions about the limit of what they can participate in, and the fact is they can, if they wanted to, they could participate in every single class,
Everything.
any classes for 6 weeks. They could. There's no limit.
No
That
limit.
is correct.
Best deal in town.
Like you can't go out to dinner for $50. So.
Any other questions?
I think that's.
A few people had asked Larry how long the classes were going to be posted, afterwards, how long they could go back and revisit them for.
We haven't determined that, but I expect we'll keep everything up through the duration of the 6 weeks and maybe a little bit longer than that. But we've not made a specific decision about that. But certainly at minimum the 6 weeks.
Cool.
Somebody wanted to know, Larry, are we still accepting participants? And the answer is yes.
You mean to people to register?
Yes, people to register for the summer sessions.
Yes,
Yes.
our official deadline is tomorrow, but frankly, we'll probably accept registrations past tomorrow. I can tell you that we have a license for 1,000 people at an individual session. We currently, as I said, have a little over 800 signed up. And frankly, if we had a flurry, which is not likely, of over 200 people in the next few days, the chances of all of them attending one session is pretty slim. So it's like an airline overbooking. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable if I had 1,100 people registered with a 1,000 participant limit. But again, I don't think we're going to go quite that high. David?
Someone wanted to know if they need to know if they're a soprano, alto, tenor, or bass ahead of time. Some of the songs will be sung in 4 parts, and it's up to them. We cannot listen to everyone individually and tell them what part they'd be singing. It's up to them based on what they've done in the past to decide which part they feel most comfortable with. And the good thing is we provide tracks to all 4 parts, to the 4-part songs. So if they start with the sopranos and they feel it's a little too high, they could always switch down to and practice with the altos. And a lot of the songs are going to be sung unison with just a lyric sheet. So they shouldn't be too concerned about what part they're starting off with at the beginning.
Okay.
I'll go into that more on Monday morning since I'm the first one up. I'll talk about head voice versus chest voice in the women's voices. Just remember, if you're trying to figure out if you're a soprano or an alto, the soprano always sings the melody. Pretty much always sings the tune that you would know. So don't worry. Don't worry.
Anything else? I saw somebody somebody raised her hand. I saw a little thing flash on my screen.
I'm looking across. Somebody wanted to know if the facilitator can put music up on the shared screen. Some facilitators will be doing things differently than others, so some facilitators might. But for the singing sessions, we suggest if you don't already have the music at home, go to the website and you can either download it and print it out, or you can even download it to an iPad and you can just scroll through it during the rehearsals.
Yeah, it would be impractical for us to put the sheet music up on the screen while the instructor is trying to go through it.
Jeff, did you have a question? Did you want to say something?
No, that was what I was going to bring up, but Larry just answered it.
Okay.
Okay. David, how are we doing on questions?
I'm looking to see if anything else is coming in.
Yeah, the only other thing I saw, somebody asked what platform the videos were going to be on. It's just all going to be done through our Zoom hosting. So like for my classes, and I know for Larry's, he's going to be showing some YouTube videos and some things like that. You guys won't have to download anything else to be able to watch any of the content. It's all going to come through the host.
Right.
Another question that's come up is if someone selects to sing with one conductor one week, do they have to stick with that conductor? No, they can switch around. Like we said, you can go to every single session. You could go to one, you could go to all 80. It's all up to you.
And the best thing is that every conductor says great things differently. So you're going to do a lot of learning. You're going to be really smart in 6 weeks.
And I'll piggyback on that for a second. I was talking with my mom yesterday about the schedule. She was like, you don't have a rehearsal on Monday, do you? And I was like, yeah, I have such and such a class. She's like, oh yeah, I decided not to go to that one. I want to work with somebody else.
Oh, that's a vote of confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Larry, we keep getting some questions about the music again. So people want to know, would it be helpful before the first rehearsals to print out the music if you have the ability to do that? The answer is yes, because we'll be starting from the very first rehearsals, whether it's a chorale or a rocks or a sentimental journeys, we'll be singing from the very first rehearsal.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of this sheet music is many pages, and so you'll have to print out many pages, or you can save the file and take it to your local printing place. But yeah. there's nothing we can do about that. In an ordinary Encore semester, everyone is provided with sheet music, and that will be the case this coming fall as we continue the Encore University concept. But a big difference will be that we will provide all of the sheet music that everybody will need. Now, we couldn't do that for $50 tuition for this class. So,
Correct. And Larry, someone also wanted to know, a couple of people asked about the platform that it's going to be recorded on, and I told them it's recorded internally via Zoom itself, and then you will be sending out, making available the videos later. It'll take a little while. They're not going to be immediate because they require a little bit of editing, correct?
yeah, and I haven't done that. We just started experimenting with the with the video function, and so after the video ends, I receive an email with a link to the video, and I've clicked on the link and watched the video, but that's as far as I've gone. So I read somewhere that I should be able to edit the video, and I hope that's true, so that we can take out all of the pre-class, the 5, 10, 15 minutes where we're actually preparing for the meeting. The meeting has started, but you're not in it yet, and clean it up, maybe put a title screen on it, and all of these things. Then we have to decide how we're going to get it to you. It's possible that we would put it on YouTube, but that would be a less desirable option if I can come up with another one. We may be able to put them on Encore's website and make them password protected and give you the password. But we'll keep you posted on this, but we will come up with a solution that we think is best.
Larry, we've had a couple of people that have questions about, once again, getting to both the music they can print out and also the audio recordings. That is on Encore's website. People asked about that, encorecreativity.org.
Singers login.
Singers login. That's we did cover that, but yes.
Yeah. Also,
go ahead.
there's some questions. Will there be splits within each section, like first or second alto, first or second tenor? And I believe, Gene, correctly, we're going to be pretty much straight 4-part music. There's no Divisi.
There is a Divisi in Take Me to the Water, one of the pieces that I'm doing. I won't do that on Monday morning. I'll do it the second Monday. It is split 3 ways between the sopranos and the altos.
And one of the things that's fun with this format of not being able to hear each other all the time is that you can explore singing different voice parts.
Yes.
You know, like if you've always wanted to sing first alto, but you've never had the guts to give it a try, well, give it a try now. It's a perfect time to do it.
If you want to sing bass and you're a soprano, have at it. I hope not.
Good luck with that.
Also, we've had
wide open.
We've also had some questions about when you're in a rehearsal and you're singing, who do you hear? And the answer is you will only be hearing the conductor and the piano that they're playing and yourself. You will not hear other singers because of the latency issue. You will not hear other singers singing, but sometimes the conductor will play a recording of all the voices together, and then you can sing along with that. But normally when it's just the conductor and the piano, you'll just hear yourself. You will not hear other singers.
We were bombarded with questions about this when we first started using Zoom back in March, April. Well, why can't I hear everybody else? Well, it's a very simple answer. The technology does not exist for chorals rehearsing together. Every one of you, and I sort of touched on this, every one of you has a different internet connection with a different speed. And so when you sing, the words coming out of your mouth are not matching the words coming out of somebody else's mouth if it was possible to do that on Zoom. And I can give you a good example. When we were doing the rehearsals in the spring, when Jean was doing hers, I was on another computer monitoring everything in a different room. And I could hear Jean live, and I could hear Jean coming through the computer, and they were not in sync. There was a certain amount of latency between that. So, a half a second or whatever, but It wasn't in sync. Well, imagine a whole lot of people trying to do that. That's why a good explanation for why you're seeing this burst of virtual performances coming online, where you see all these people singing together. And some people, said, well, why are they able to do that? Well, that's not live. That's every one of them recorded their piece individually, and then it was all put together and synced by somebody who is technically competent to do that. Now, I'm going to segue on that just for a moment and make a pitch. When we get into our fall semester, we intend to learn the music for the purpose of having a final virtual performance. So everyone who participates in our semester in the fall will have the opportunity to contribute to a virtual performance video. And we'll have a lot more information on that. As in fact, our fall catalog is now available on Encore's homepage on our website, and I think it was sent out to everybody on our current mailing list yesterday, or it's about to go out. And you'll see some high-level information about that. But that will be happening in the fall.
One of our singers made a very good suggestion, as you noted before, because we have to cover the cost of producing these 6 weeks. We ask that participants do not share the link with people who haven't paid for it. But one of the singers suggested, if you know of someone who wants to participate, it might be a good idea, gift them pay for a session for them, pay for a registration for them, which would be a very nice thing to do for friends or family who might not have access. So she made that suggestion, which I think is nice for people to consider, giving it as a gift to someone else, paying the $50 and giving them that registration.
Yes, we just got an email from one of our singers saying that she had done just that. She gifted the tuition for her
sister's birthday.
Yeah, as a birthday
And then
present.
in turn, her sister sings in a chorus in Vermont. And so that conductor of that chorus decided to put out our information to all his choristers. So that's how it goes. I feel, as founder of Encore, I am thrilled that Encore is not going into hibernation. And we are I don't know of anyone else who is not going into hibernation. So
Yeah,
we're very happy.
Yeah, the best anything anybody's doing right now is the virtual performances. As we're very much a part of the choral community, we're plugged in on all of the discussions that are going on. And I'll tell you what, nobody's doing anything like this.
Larry, just a reminder for people who came in late, if you have questions in the chat room, please send them to the Encore Creativity only privately, not to everyone, so we can keep track.
And if they have questions.
Okay.
Oh, also the question here, several people wanted to know whether the instructors, even though the singers cannot hear themselves, they want to know if the instructor can hear them, and the answer is no. The instructors cannot hear people individually. That's just the way Zoom works.
For the same reason. The only time the instructor will hear you is if you are specifically unmuted, and generally speaking, during the rehearsals, that will not be the case. Anything else?
Um,
My little chat thing keeps flashing.
it's just no Kennedy Center this year. We're talking about it, but we're talking about not for summer. There'll be no virtual recording for summer, but we are planning a virtual concert for the fall.
Correct.
Right.
That will be available if you sign up for the fall session, not for the summer session.
Correct.
Kennedy Center has announced cancellation of everything through the end of the year, and that includes our traditional big concert on December 26th.
And someone else will we sort of addressed this already, but will the fall classes somewhat mirror the summer? And yes, there'll be some things that are the same, but there'll obviously also be
lots of new things.
Yeah, the structure will be the same, the content will be different.
And just a reminder once again, because we keep getting some private questions, on the website through the Singer page, not only can they get the music, download the printed music, they can get the choral tracks and they can hear both. Let's say they're a tenor, they can listen to just their tenor part and also what we call balanced voices, which means all the voices together. So, and then someone said, can we use this in between? Yes, of course. You can practice this every day in between the sessions. You can practice every day for 6 weeks. And you can certainly download and listen and practice them in advance of rehearsal. You don't have to wait for the first rehearsal to start working on the music.
Yeah, I think that would be an excellent idea. This weekend it's supposed to be hot. Some of the beaches are closed. What are you going to do? Listen to those choral tracks and become a little bit more comfortable. And then you'll feel more confident on Monday morning. And then by week 6, you'll feel courageous and you'll sound fabulous. That's how it goes.
And once again, we get a lot of questions about the recordings. And Larry, as Larry said, he will let you know. We'll be sending out information about how you can retrieve all those recordings and what platform they're on, all that kind of stuff. So we just have to bear with us for a little bit. You'll be getting lots of specific information about that in the days to come.
Yeah, as I said early on, this is the first time we've done Encore University. We're going to be learning along with everybody else as we go. And we guarantee you, we promise you that we will communicate and keep you apprised. One thing I want to mention before I forget, we will email this presentation out to everybody. So you will have it, you can review it and recall the content if you so desire. Especially I've been watching, we've had people arriving right up until just the last few minutes. So clearly a lot of you were not here for the whole thing. So this will give you an opportunity to look at the presentation deck and glean some additional information.
Yeah, one of the things people keep asking about is getting into that singers page. And on the website, the password is singers, plural, with an S, not singer, but singers with an S on the end, small s at the beginning.
And it's all lowercase.
Lowercase, yes.
Couldn't make it any easier. Okay, anything else?
So there were some questions about handouts, if any of the conductors will have handouts for their classes beforehand. If the conductors do have handouts, they'll be giving them to us and we'll send them out when we send out the links, correct, Larry?
That's correct. We covered that. And yes, they'll be available on the Singers login page, and we will provide a link embedded in the week's schedule when that goes out to make it easy for you to find it. The only thing, if you click on that link, the only thing you're going to need to know is that password, and it'll take you right there.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. If you, since it is a holiday weekend, we are going to have limited time in the office. But if you have a compelling question, send it to info@encorecreativity.org and it will be answered.
So at least one person on our staff will be monitoring the email between now and Monday.
Larry, a question just came in that I think is important. Somebody wants to know, is the choral music going to be the same for all instructors or different for each instructor? Some of the music will be the same. Some of the conductors will be doing the same pieces, but then each conductor will also be doing different pieces in their session. So for instance, Gene will be doing one set of music. I'll be doing another set. Jeff will be doing another set, David Lang. And if you want to know what those pieces are in advance, if you go to the singers page again, there is a repertoire list. Look for the repertoire list and it lists 5 columns. Each column has the music that conductor will be rehearsing with their group.
Right, and I think a smart thing to do would be go to that page to see what the repertoire is. And for instance, on Monday, I know I will be starting with Swingin' with the Gershwins. So familiarize yourself with that piece. And I believe we'll also do Vivaldi's Gloria. And then we'll do some fun sing-alongs. So just you'll feel more comfortable and confident if you've at least heard the music.
We've made a tremendous amount of information available to you on our website. It's up to you to go there, download what you want, or at least look at it, become familiar. We have found over the 12, I guess, 13 years of Encore that those people who help themselves are much better off. We're a limited number of people on the staff, and we try really hard to answer questions, but inevitably a significant number of those questions are things that the answer is already there in the information you've been provided. The course catalog has a lot of information, the frequently asked questions, the schedule at a glance. All of these things can answer a whole lot of questions for you. And if you have a unique question, please don't hesitate to email us.
Correct. And Larry, maybe after you're officially finished, we have a lot of questions that are coming in, not to everyone, but as we asked just privately to me. I'm trying to answer them quickly, but if I haven't answered your question, we'll keep this session open. You can just stay on and I will continue to try to privately answer your questions here.
Okay.
All right.
And with that, we'll officially end the meeting. So anyone who wants to leave, you are excused. And anybody who wants to continue to listen to Q&A and interact with David may do so. Dave, I'll stay on as well.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks
See
a lot.
you on Monday.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. We think it's going to be very exciting.
Bye.